This is a trip down. Well, everybody, it's a trip down Stoner Drive. We're about to go live in about 40 seconds with my guest Creighton, so we will see you soon.
Welcome, everyone, to a trip down Stoner Drive. I am your host, Shag Wellbolt, or you can call me Shaggy, like zoinks, and this is a platform to tell people stories about how cannabis has positively or maybe even negatively affected their lives. I don't care if you're a patient, a brand, a distribution, an athlete, a politician. If you have a story to tell, I want to hear it. So hopefully this gives you an educating and entertaining look behind the scenes of the booming cannabis industry. And if you like my videos, please give a like and
check. What up, everybody? It's a great day. It's been a long time since I've done any of these, but for any that don't know, this is a trip down Stoner Drive where myself, Shagwell, and Shaggy will be traveling around with my dogs, Scooby and Riley, and we're traveling around in the RV, or we're training the Mystery Machine. Today, I'm so excited, though. I am having my guest, Creighton, on, and we're going to dive into the cannabis job market. So first off, thank you so much, Grant, for being on.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, brother. So let's get into it a little bit, and then in a couple minutes we'll pack up. So I am going to
safety meeting.
Exactly. Yeah, safety meeting. God, that throws me back. I love it. But let's just get started while we're talking. What got you into the cannabis industry, and how long have you been in the cannabis industry?
Okay. So that's kind of a roundabout journey. And I actually have to start with just how I got into cannabis in general. So I was 13 years old. My absolute best friend in the world, his uncle had a tumor the size of a softball right above his right shoulder blade. Over about 4 months, I watched him topically apply RSO in a month. So I'm like, yo, I'm being lied to. This is bullshit, right?
Yep.
So it was like 3 weeks or a month later. That's when I consumed for the first time. Having consumed alcohol by that point, I was like, yo, this is night and day difference. There's absolutely not a thing in the world wrong with cannabis. So from that day until now, it was just like anything I could put my hands on to learn more about the plant, I did. Fast forward to 2022, hanging out with a friend of mine, and she was just like, hey,
just keep going.
I've got to go drop off a whole bunch of gift baskets at dispensaries. She was a BA for a brand out here. And she was like, I just need an extra set of hands. Do you mind helping me? And I'm like, no problem. So we headed down to, I think it was March and Ash in Imperial Beach. That was the first spot that we hit of the day. Yeah. And it was their grand opening because, why not? So we went in, we dropped off the baskets, we headed out to the parking lot to chat with all the vendors, and we walked up to the first one. We sat there for probably half an hour talking to this guy, and as we're walking away, she just goes, you know he thinks you work for my company, right? And I'm like, what? And she's like, why the fuck aren't you doing this? You've absolutely got the people skills, you're incredibly knowledgeable about cannabis, what the fuck? And it was just like, ding, light bulb.
There you go.
So I guess it was maybe about a month later, I got on with Cosmic Fog and Kinda High as a brand ambassador for them. I was with them for about 3 months and then became Kiva's field marketing rep for basically the bottom quarter of the state, and was with them for 2.5 years up until a couple of weeks ago.
Awesome. Well, we'll dive into that soon, but it is getting close to 420. So if you're in here, comment what you're smoking on. I am about to be packing up the strawberry cough. I think they changed it. Oh no, that was Pacific Stone. That's just Starberry Cough.
Yeah.
So Strawberry Cough from Claiborne Co. And I absolutely love Strawberry Cough. It's the first one that I discovered was a sativa that I actually knew. I was like, oh, this is what they mean by a sativa.
Yep.
Kind of feeling. And granted, the terms have changed recently and stuff, but when I really noticed the difference of what a sativa effect is.
Yeah.
So, and then you were going to smoke on, which one are you going to smoke on?
Actually,
I got a couple different things.
I don't really know.
So I have the Black Bubblegum Horchata from Shasta Hash Co. This is a rosin. I also have Adam Ill's Indica as well. This is going to be more of a sugar.
Okay.
And that's all I have right now.
I think I'm going to have to go with the Black Bubblegum.
That one was tasty. Yeah, I did. And what was really cool was I had their rosin cart, and their rosin, and it was very, very well put together. Usually, they'll kind of taste a little different. Carts will always taste a little off, but it was very well on.
Hell yeah, dude! This thing smells. Oh my god, that smells amazing.
Yeah, and I thought it was gonna be a lot sweeter than it was. I'm glad it wasn't. It wasn't like they did overly fake terps or candy terps. So
okay,
really enjoyed that.
Dude, absolutely love it. Love it when companies do stuff like that.
Exactly.
All right.
I'll let you get yours going. And is it 4:20 yet? Oh, 4:19. So let's go. By the time that's ready, we'll be good to go. And what rig is this? Because it's not the Puffco, but
so no, this is not a Puffco. This is called the Paramore 4. There's another device on the market called the Bomb that's essentially the same device. It's just a different shaped glass.
Okay. The rounded one, right?
Yeah. Yeah. The 3D chamber 2. It has like a tether on the carb cap. That's the only, and it's yellow. That's the only difference between that and this one. But I'll break this thing down in a minute because this thing has been a performer, bro.
No, I love it. And with my Puffco just pooping out recently, I'm looking around the market for a new rig. So
I'll give you the details on this one for sure. So
I'm open to all of them. I don't like just like all the brand names. I want to try them all. So like whoever anybody's recommending, I'm willing to give it a shot. Man. And then whoever seems the best deal, I'm going to take it.
For sure. For sure.
Cheers. Happy 420.
Yes, sir. Happy 420, guys.
Woo!
That is so tasty.
I'll try that one a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, right?
This is so
the Shasta?
tasty. Yeah.
I've been loving. I haven't tried the Shasta flower. I've tried a lot of their rosin and stuff. Oh yeah, but I've loved their flower too. Yeah. They're a newer company. They were more up north, and now they're coming down more SoCal.
Nice. I like a lot of the brands that are starting to like make their way down from NorCal down here. So it's been nice to get into a few of them for sure.
And with me, I have people ask me constantly like, "What's your favorite brand?" And I don't have a favorite brand.
Yeah.
I like a strain or two from each company, and I'm like, oh, they're not. Nobody's been the best at everything. What I've found. Like, I like some of their stuff, but usually like they'll have 3 strains that I love.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Pick from.
Well, and you get into that like you're finding your particular like repertoire that you're going to. Oh, this one actually works perfect for this. And, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Well, man, so you've been in the industry for about 3 years, right? Mm-hmm. And working with Kiva, I mean, they're one of the biggest brands. You had Lost Farms under them. You had Camino under them. Are there any other?
So it's five brands total in the brand family. You obviously have Kiva, their namesake, the original Kiva chocolate bars. But then you've got the Camino gummies, Lost Farm gummies and chews. You've got the Terra chocolate-covered bites, and then Petra mints.
Awesome. And then what was kind of your role with Kiva?
So I was their field marketing rep, which essentially the job duties were going into shops, setting up a demo table, pushing promotions, teaching consumers and staff product knowledge, setting up merchandising displays, what else? Working special events.
And you got recognized for one of your displays, right?
Well, I don't know if it was specifically for the display, but I was at one point. I won an internal award. They call them the Cocoa Awards. Mm-hmm. I won one for craftsmanship in November of 2023. November 2023. Sorry, I had to go years. But then I was also nominated for Field Marketing Rep of the Year nationally for 2023 as well. So that felt pretty good. I was just like, damn, I guess nice to be honored like that. Yeah. But yeah, it's fun, man. Like going around doing that kind of stuff. I've got a background doing kitchen and bath design. Mm-hmm. On top of that, like I was an entrepreneur and had my own handyman business. I was in the skilled trades for a number of years. So it's like when you start adding like all those different skills in, like it just kind of culminated in the perfect combination for the job.
Oh, absolutely. And I met you at Cannabis when I was there, now with Herb. But I saw how passionate you were both teaching the patients and the bud tenders. You were there to talk to the bud tenders and the managers. But while you're there, you see people looking at your product and you're immediately there helping the customer.
Oh, yeah. I mean, people interest me, right?
Yes.
I've always enjoyed like really getting to know people, connecting with people, because like you never know when that connection is going to boomerang back around. And like, somebody you met for 30 seconds 2 years ago, like now you're, working side by side with them every day or something. Right?
No, absolutely.
So on top of that, I enjoy teaching. Anything that brings somebody else enlightenment, like I'm all for it. So that's something that I think carries into that. And then on top of that, just helping people find the right thing.
Yeah.
So it's like everybody likes to have a good suggestion thrown at them every now and again.
Absolutely.
Right? So yeah.
Now, before we get into the leaving Kiva and everything and navigating the job market, what is your favorite product from them?
Oh.
Of all the brands, what was your favorite one? And then what was your least favorite as well?
Oh, damn. That's going to be a harder question. Favorite, I would say it's probably going to be the Triple Berry Fatso Live Rosin Lost Farm Hundreds, the single piece gummies that just came out. Flavor-wise, those are so good.
Yeah.
But then least favorites. I don't know if I have a least favorite, but probably the least consumed.
The Petras, just because you're tolerance?
No, actually, I enjoyed Petras are just tasty, man. But honestly, it was probably the blackberry chocolate one.
Okay.
I just didn't ever really either get that one as a sample, because internally they would give samples out every now and again, and then even just picking stuff up on my own at the shop.
No, I completely understand.
I would either go for the churro flavor or a dark chocolate or something like that.
Or the espresso beans.
Oh God, the Terra espresso beans, bro.
Yeah.
Yes.
But now, what I've loved is how long ago were you let go of?
It was February the 5th, I think it was. Was my last official
so
day?
About a month, and since then I haven't heard you speak any ill will against them. So what was the process like of them?
So it was just a basic restructuring. Strategy-wise, they're changing some things up internally. So essentially for California, first of all, nationwide, they transitioned all the field marketing reps into their field sales reps now.
Mm-hmm.
But for California, there were just a couple of positions that were cut, both in SoCal and NorCal, and so they're kind of keeping two in the middle of the state.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, being in San Diego, that means I was the one to get let go.
And I've seen that with a lot of different companies. The more they scale, expand in different states, they're changing structure, and so just be wary of anybody when you hear you're expanding to 2 or 3 more states. Might change your roll up a little bit. It can potentially.
But they absolutely stressed that it wasn't anything performance related or anything like that. Literally, Aaron Peck, their VP of sales, he is unfortunately the one who had to break the news to me. But that was on Tuesday. The preceding Thursday, I had posted a picture of a display that I had designed and installed, and I just kind of updated that day, giving it a refresh to. And literally his comment was, this is probably the best looking Kiva display in the nation. So somebody giving you that level of praise, then to have to let you go a couple days later, I don't really think it's anything personal. And I know for a fact that, it's nobody there was it's just a numbers game and a business decision. You know what I mean? So if they ask me to come back tomorrow, yeah. You know what I mean? Why not? They're absolutely a great brand. They're absolutely a great company. It's just sometimes your strategy means you got to change course.
Yeah. No, I love your attitude with it, and I think it's going to easily help you get picked up soon. And it's also showing a lot of the talent that's on the market right now. And that's what we wanted to have this podcast is it's not only you guys. Weed Maps has let go of a lot of people. I'm kind of blanking on a few, but there's so many companies that are restructuring and changing, and there's so much talent of people on the market right now.
Well, from what I could kind of tell, just my vantage point in the industry, it's nationwide. There's, anytime there's a political shift, you always have a lot of uncertainties. We'll just start right there.
Yep.
We seemingly were headed pretty well towards full federal legalization of cannabis, and then all of a sudden it's kind of okay, wait a minute, are we actually going to go through with this or not? So that is going to make, right now, you've got venture capitalists who are investing in these companies, and that's going to make anybody leery for one. Anytime there's any sort of a political shift, people get nervous, right? They just want to see what happens. they can deal with the news either way most of the time. So my prediction, honestly, a lot of the things that we're seeing right now, by assuming there's no other political shifts, let me preface that.
Yep.
I kind of feel like by mid-June, maybe July at the latest, you'll see things kind of starting to get back to normal-ish.
I think
Maybe
420
cautiously.
might start kicking things into gear a little bit faster.
It depends.
And I think it was like you're saying, people wanted to kind of just wait and see.
Mhm.
And the only thing I would say is I've started to see a lot of bigger companies in these few months start to enter the game big.
Yeah.
And like with lots and lots of money, I'm talking hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And so don't get your political stuff to stop you from going, because they're going full blow. And I think it's going to go legal regardless. And I think it's because of money. I think that's the reason is our tax money and the money in our industry can now speak with the tobacco companies and the alcohol companies. And they're the ones that are coming into the industry too. So
Here's the thing. The phrase bursting at the seams comes to mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
I recently went to Fort Lauderdale, right, in Florida. As a non-Florida resident, I can't walk into a dispensary and buy cannabis there, right? However, the state-run liquor stores, on the other hand, literally have hemp-derived, THC-infused beverages right there on the shelf, right? That's a sign of the times. The demand is there. You know what I mean? So it's like...
Go to Fraser Farms, go to different breweries, go anywhere. You are starting to see Rogue, Can, just a few more
I feel like
cycling songs.
I feel like Can's leading the charge on that.
Oh, absolutely.
They're freaking everywhere.
No, and there's so many. And I mean, Palmos is entering the house.
Yes.
There's so many. Smokies is entering the house. Like, there's so many that are starting to realize, oh, these other states aren't really regulating and aren't really checking, and you can sell them pretty much anywhere. And so, and that's what's insane is, like, I have friends call me from Florida or so, and they're like, hey, I have like Delta 9 products. And I'm like, that's THC. Okay, like the real THC is Delta 9. So I'm like, you guys aren't even, it's like you putting a different name on it, and it's like, oh, okay, we don't know.
That, or like you walk in places in Florida, it's like, oh, we have THCA flower.
Yeah.
Cool. I just need to take a lighter to it. Let's go.
They also have mushrooms and stuff too. Like all these places I see, like
have the mushrooms thing, man. Some of them aren't psilocybin, some of them aren't psilocybin. It's a different compound. The name of it is, but like that can actually be pretty bad for you.
Yeah. So, and that's why I want to be legal and go is we need to also have a lot of these brands are being affected because there's people that can just buy their packaging, just throw it on there, and like, here you go. And then somebody gets sick, and it can really affect your brand. And so we need to legalize it just so we can start having like the testing and having things like all when you buy it here, it's going to be the same thing.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I mean, having any kind of standard, like even Kiva operating in multiple states, right? So it's not necessarily how do I put this? Because in some states, like we can come in, like a company can come in and direct manufacture, right? Some states you got to come in and work with a partner, right, and have them do the manufacture, and then you're rebranding and selling, right? But they're like doing it up to the same. Yeah, go for it. Like they're doing it up to the same quality and standards and everything else, right? So the funny thing is, you can have a little bit of different. I don't want to say quality, but different qualities. Yeah. Even within the same brand, state to state, because of that. So, like, if you were all of a sudden able to erase state lines, and now you've got interstate, like true interstate commerce, like it's a game changer.
And then you can also have people set up in different states and set their grows up, so you can have like a California brand. Well, I think it'd be more established of like, oh, this is like from Montana, and like repping if you can like, do different lines, because then it's also growers don't have to pay the crazy taxes to move their grow out here.
Correct.
They can just perfect it there and then travel it out.
Well, yeah, and I mean that man, that goes pretty deep. You could start literally going down the whole rabbit hole of like, I don't know, interstate commerce and like voting with your feet and this, that, and the other. But like, I don't know. I think if we can ever get to that point, it truly is going to be a game changer. Five times, just 5 clicks on it. Oh, I tell you what, let's take a moment. This is a great time to segue. Okay, So this
Yeah,
device
tell me about
is the Paramore 4. It retails for roughly about $140-ish. At least that's yeah. So it comes with a 3D chamber standard, and replacement ones are only about $30. Here's the crazy thing. Temperature control is 3 clicks, 400 to 600, 3 clicks to adjust it, 2 clicks to auto heat, or you can just press and hold for manual heating. On top of that, the manual said something along the lines of like, with heavy use, you should be replacing the chamber roughly about every month, which, you know, $30, that's not terrible if you're like running some stuff through there. I wanted to push it as far as I could. I assure you, I've put at least 150 to 175 grams of varying product, whether it was hash, rosin, resin, sugar, butter, batter, shatter, like you name it. I've intentionally tried to leave that thing dirty. Tried to just abuse it. You see the cloud you just blew, that's the original chamber. I still have the replacement one in the box. And I've had that thing for, I don't know, a little over a year.
That's good.
And it works just as well as the day I got it. So yeah. So yeah, I've been super happy with that thing. The bomb, like I said, the only difference is the shape of the glass. Shape of the glass is like a dome. And then the chamber just has a tether on the carb cap. That's really it. Yeah.
We got a little bit off course, it happens, but I wanted, going along with the job market and everything, about how many companies have you interviewed with so far, and also kind of what's been the process of that?
So far, let's see, 1, 2, it's been probably 7 or 8 different companies ish.
All in California or different states?
Most of them in California. I'm open to opportunity nationwide. Industry's nationwide now, right? So
exactly.
Why can't I be?
Yeah.
I also kind of thrive on like anywhere that I can achieve growth.
New.
So
I'm the same way.
I mean, California,
you can drop me in any city, I will create my community.
Exactly. So like California, depending on the metric you're using, it was the largest legal cannabis market in the world, and now it still is in terms of like actual dollars through the market.
Yeah.
Nationwide, Michigan actually edged out California for number of products on the market.
Okay.
So yeah, it just depends on the metric you use. But that being said, I'm open to opportunity nationwide because, like, hey, why not grow the industry even more?
Oh, absolutely. Besides California, if you could pick a state, what, like 2 or 3 or 1 would you like?
That's an interesting question. There's a part of me so I'm originally from just outside of Atlanta, Georgia. So there's a part of me that would want to go back to Georgia just to try to help grow the market there, because I'm sorry, Georgia, you're doing it wrong.
Oh, absolutely. But
like, I'm glad you're where you're at, but let's talk seriously. I got some ideas for you. That being said, Florida would be very interesting, especially if they can get where they can pass recreational use for adult use.
Yes. Yeah, you'd pretty much want to go to a recreational instead of medical, or no?
I wouldn't be opposed to medical only if it was the right state.
Cool.
Florida, I don't think is really quite there yet for me. Maybe.
We'll see. Different parts, yeah.
Yeah, depends on where I'm at in Florida. Like South Florida, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Let's go. Miami, Fort Lauderdale, like let's go.
The East.
Yeah. I don't know. There's some parts, like, I would probably say right now the most interesting state would be Alabama, actually. So
I'm not familiar with the legalization status.
They're how do I put this, man? They're kind of just popping off a little bit, and like there was actually, I'm trying to remember who it was now. I was reading somebody's post on LinkedIn with their top 5 states to like really watch for cannabis in the next year.
Yeah.
And Alabama was on the list, and I was like, okay, like let's see what's going on here. And what they were kind of saying was, they're primed to like really explode and this and that. But then what struck me is down in the comments on that same post, everybody's like, yeah, I'm talking about this state, that state, this state, that state on the list, but nobody mentioned Alabama once. And so I'm like, that would be the one I would pick.
Okay.
Because it's the one, it's like the opportunity everybody's overlooking, right?
Oh, absolutely. And there's so many people that nowadays do smoke down there. They just don't like, it's still like the South, so they're not going to tell their grandma and stuff, but hell yeah, they're going to go pick up. And
it's still a lot more, how do I put this? It's definitely a lot more socially acceptable there now.
Yeah.
But when I was coming up,
oh, no, same with Virginia.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, when I left Virginia, it was like, everybody's like, nope, not going to happen. I mean, I almost had to charge. And then I left, and I was like, 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, within 5 years.
It'll be
And the first dispensary was a cannabis. And so it was hilarious. Now that I think they sold their Virginia state stores and stuff. So I think it's Corona or a different brand now.
Yeah.
But it's just hilarious because my friends are all calling me and they're like,
Yeah.
how do I get my med card? How do I do this?
Yeah.
Here's a link.
Like,
Normal.
boom,
There you go. Get your med card. And yeah, so it's just so great because when I moved out, I'm experiencing all the things they have to do. So now they have to call in the doctor and everything. And so it's so great.
But yeah, like I said, Alabama I think would be the most interesting state to go to. But yeah, most of the brands I've been talking to have been in California. It would be very hard to leave Southern California. I'm not gonna lie. I would do it for the right brand, right company, but it would be hard. It would be very hard.
What has been have you got any weird questions during any of these interviews or anything that's kind of like throwing you off with any of these interviews?
Not so much weird questions.
Or processes?
No, not even really processes. Cool. Honestly, I think everybody's been pretty straightforward, pretty easy to work with and like schedule interviews and whatever. I mean, that's the best thing about this industry is that like I think people are still very humanized still. So yeah, that has been pretty easy.
What has been the best success you found through getting some of these interviews? Is it more through a word of mouth through somebody, or has it been LinkedIn? Has it been Indeed? What has been your most successful?
Cast your net super wide. Literally any place that like says they're posting jobs for the cannabis industry, go through the listings. You may see repeat ones, doesn't matter. Like make this your job. Right? Yep. So like I got up, like for some reason I've been waking up with the sun the last couple of months. It's been weird. I'm not usually me for those that know me. But yeah, kind of waking up with the sun and it's like, this is just my job. Get up, make some coffee, go in, like, okay, what's posted new? Anything that looks like it's remotely worth my time, fire off a resume. Don't turn down any interview, big or small. I don't care if it was part-time work. I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter.
There you go.
It's one of those things, again, you never know when that connection could boomerang back, for one.
Yep.
And who knows? You may walk in there to interview for one thing, and then they're like, you know what? No, we actually just want to make this position for you because we see where this could actually be a better way to go. I've had that happen outside of the cannabis industry. I was a small little cabinet shop that I went in to interview to be a designer. And when I left, I was managing the shop. It was only like two other employees in there, but still, like I was the shop manager and the designer. It's just like you never know.
No, absolutely, and that's why I think you got to take as many opportunities, especially if this is the industry you want to be in.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when I first came out, I would ride. Only had a bicycle, so I'd ride a bike like 30 miles to apply to the same 6 spots, and then once I got a car, I took it from the border all the way up to Oceanside. I applied to like 60 spots and just anywhere and everywhere. There's only one industry, and that's what I like about it is like for a lot of the people, you see some of the realest people. There's a lot of fakes out there. I'm not gonna lie, you see a lot of fake companies, a lot of fake people. Yeah. But you also meet some of the realest people, and it's also a very small knit world. Even though the industry is big, it's so small, and people, you either know somebody that knows somebody, or I constantly get introduced to somebody I've already met, or I've met so many people through like 1 or 2 people.
Oh yeah. So like that, it's like I said, it's like no other industry. There's so many different connections, and it just feels like everybody kind of knows everybody in a sense. Mm-hmm. I that's the other half of the equation, though, as far as like why I've been able to at least talk to as many companies as I've been able to talk to, is just leaning into all the connections that I've made. Yeah. If you have any sort of a network, reach out to them, ask them to ask around. Not only that, but like if you have a LinkedIn profile, if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, go create one.
Yep. Seriously, especially with the cannabis space.
Yeah. LinkedIn is very, very cannabis friendly. Like they're very friendly to the industry. At one point in time, I remember reading that like you would find more job postings there than any other job posting site. I think that's since kind of equalized a bit because I do see a lot on Indeed as well.
Yep, I do see a lot there.
But even places like Glassdoor, man, what else? Flower Hire. There's so many different even like cannabis specific websites that you can go
absolutely
through, so it's just like,
and then also just go to the local events.
Yeah,
I mean, we got Farmers Cup coming up soon.
Yes,
Hall of Flowers might be a little pricey to go to, but if you can make it, definitely go. Hall of Flowers is one of the best events, especially if you're trying to get it. I mean, that's what I say is just hit up your local events and like that's about get not only your resume to people, but get your face in front of people.
Absolutely.
They need, especially in the cannabis industry, we kind of like until somebody trusts you, they don't want to bring you in.
Yeah,
there's still that wall.
For sure. The other thing is like on LinkedIn, go through your network of people, ask them to leave you recommendations and endorsements. Those can absolutely be the difference between whether an employer will talk to you. Like they're going to check out your profile first.
Yep.
But yeah, it's been kind of humbling in a way though, because like as I started reaching out through this network of people, like hey, this is kind of what happened. This is what I'm looking for. Some of the comments and reactions and like stories that people have shared, well wishes and everything else, man, it's been touching. Like I've never experienced that in any other industry.
It shows how many people like have really relied on you, built a connection and everything. I mean, shoot, we've grabbed a few beers and everything, and you're just a rep, but like it's just good people, good vibes.
Absolutely, man. And it's like I've had such amazing experiences in this industry in terms of connecting with people. Like, man, I've met so many different musicians. I've met pro athletes. I've met I've met so many different like famous people. It's been fun. I've met like people who, and that's like going all the way down to even being in the shop and having somebody come in who like, I don't know, they're literally fighting for their lives, like trying to battle off cancer. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's like,
those are my favorites.
Dude, having connections like that where like somebody comes back to you and they're like, hey, you recommended this for me and I was able to sleep for the first time, like get good sleep for the first time in months, or like actually eat a meal without like having to force it. Like those connections are insane.
My first week, and that's what really gets me keep pushing, is finding stories like that. And I've interviewed people. Mark Goldstein's become a great friend who's found pancreatic cancer. But like the very first week of working in a dispensary, I had a patient come in, and it wasn't to me, even though I've had these. It was to my manager, and she said, "My mom just passed away, but she was using cannabis that you recommended. And for the last few months, I had my mom." And it's like, you were her guardian angel. Yeah. And I'm sitting on the side just fucking crying. Dude, and I was like, this is why I moved across the country to get in this industry. Like, and I've had so many of those stories since then, like being in the industry for 8 years. And it's just incredible.
And not even just that, like when you're, when I would be talking to somebody and just like making a recommendation to them, right? Like they wanted to use cannabis for X purpose, like whatever it is. Being able to like give them that knowledge and then them come back and being like, dude, that was absolutely perfect. Like you just kind of see like they've been enlightened on this new level. And I think that in terms of advocacy for cannabis, like now you've made somebody even more of an advocate for it, right? Because they see how effective it can be. I've seen 75 and 80-year-old people come in and be like kind of skeptical about it, but like still somewhat open-minded, and then see them, I don't know, 2 months later, and they're just like, that was the best decision I ever made. Like, thank you for helping me, work through that.
Awesome. Well, we'll keep going for a couple more minutes, but what I want to get into is, again, with the job market is, what is something you'd like to tell any companies that are seeing this, any brands that would kind of sell yourself right now?
Oh, man.
What would you tell them of like why they would need to reach out and hire you? Because what I can tell from right now is you got advocacy, you got knowledge, you got connections, you got the thrive to grow in new markets. Like, I've seen a lot of passion in this episode alone, and different things that have just kind of
like without it sounding like braggy or cocky, because I always try to keep it humble. But
absolutely.
I have somewhat like a depression era work ethic. Like my grandpa, who like came up during the depression, like he was kind of my father figure growing up. So like that's what he kind of imparted to me. So you take that combined with being kind of a Swiss Army knife in terms of either like having a design background, a fabrication background, an entrepreneurial background, marketing background, sales background. Like you take all that and you kind of squish it into a ball. It's why the awards and nominations that I received at Kiva is like it's the entire reason why. It's the reason why I made a much larger splash in this industry than I even realized. You know, and it unfortunately took like this kind of catalyst, to show me that. But it's been amazing to see that. You know, I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't trade it for anything. Let's see what else. And then just my genuine interest in people. Like anywhere that you put somebody in this industry who has an interest in people like that, like they're going to do well, because they're either taking in such an interest in the people they work with or the people they're serving. So it's just like you're automatically kind of set up for success. I mean, like I could keep going, but like I don't want to sound braggy or whatever.
Well, I appreciate it. So make sure you hire Creighton. Now, for anybody that is thinking about entering the cannabis market or mostly, especially field marketing, what's some advice that you give them that you wish you had?
Knowledge. Knowledge is power, right? You can have a bunch of great people skills, and you can get started in this industry. It might be a little bit harder. But if you take that and you combine it with knowledge, honestly, spend $500 if you have it to invest. Go through the Ganjier Product Specialist course. Yep. It's roughly a 10-hour course. That being said, you'll automatically, in my opinion, be more of a standout candidate than anybody else applying for that role. That course in particular covers everything from cultivation to any type of processing to shop logistics, as far as like setting things up on a sales floor, how to move product. It covers pretty much every method of consumption you can think of, and like at a pretty deep level. So $500 investment to all of a sudden make yourself way more marketable to all of these different brands and companies, like do
well
that.
Worth it.
Yes, well worth it. On top of that, pull knowledge from anywhere you can. Like if you have,
before I moved out here, YouTube is honestly such a great tool. Netflix, Hulu, any of the documentaries, look up cannabis documentaries from about 2012 on, and just keep like looking them up, like hour and a half. Vice has a bunch. I mean, there's so many on there. That's where I got a lot of my knowledge from. So many articles and stuff too that you can learn. But I mean, those things are great because then you can get high, get a pad and pen, and just put on a documentary and just watch it, write down, and every question you have, research it a little bit more.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like even just something that would be fun for a lot of people, like do a home grow, do one plant, right? Jump onto YouTube and just like literally see what people have to say. And like there are so many different channels that you can follow, right? But just watching the plant grow, understanding the stages that it's at, understanding what happens after harvest, understanding literally what it takes to get it from the soil to the shelf, like it'll blow your mind as a consumer, and you'll actually start consuming differently because of that, is what I've noticed 100% of the time. People that will like do one home grow, they start changing how they buy product in the shop, right?
Yep. And one thing I would also is, if you do get jobs, sales or marketing, is really talk to the people in the lab or in the grow or that are making the sauce, edibles, whatever it is. Take them out to lunch one time, but like they'll give you a tour and you can kind of meet them real quick, but just take that extra half hour to an hour and make sure you know that product front to back.
Yep.
Because if you can answer every question from the buyer or from any patients and you know that product as if you were the one growing or brewing it,
Yep.
I guarantee you'll do 100 times better in any shop.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. And that is another thing. Like if you are incredible, like as far as like the side of the industry I was in anyway, if you're really good at retaining product knowledge, just go into a shop, get with every brand rep you see in a dispensary, like ask them, teach me as much as you can about this product.
Oh, absolutely.
Start with your favorites. Like just start.
When you came up to me, you didn't even tell me you were a Kiva rep or so. You just started asking me products like as a patient. I was just like, oh yeah, boom, boom, boom. And you're like, oh hey, I'm also the rep. Thank you. You know this shit.
So officially, when I first started with Kiva, my supervisor at the time, Megan Bergsman, my first like official assignment as a Kiva employee was to go secret shop like 3 stores and buy a couple of products at each one and submit it for reimbursement. Because she was just like, go do it on on the sly, and then like talk to a couple of the bud tenders like after you interact with them and just kind of see where they're at. And I was like, all right, like this sounds fun. So like yeah, that's how we met.
Yeah, I mean it's great, and I think that's so smart. Is like you got to understand the good, the bad, and if people are selling your product, that they know the product too.
Yeah,
like that's a big thing to know as soon as you're entering a shop.
Yeah,
so make sure, like I said, like you said, knowledge is the most important thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, and even doing something like that, like it shows a level of partnership, right? Because like the more that I, as the brand rep, understand like this is kind of where the shop is in terms of like how much they know about the product or like whatever. This is how they're displaying the product, yada yada. Like it gives me a better way to come in and like strategize how that relationship can work a lot better for everybody, right? Because the shop wants to move more product. The brand wants them to buy more product to move.
Exactly.
Right? So it's like if you get in and you figure out like, hey, this is how you grease the wheels on both sides and everybody wins, including the consumer, like it works. It just works, So
awesome, man. Well, this has been a great episode.
Yeah.
So now I want to get a little more on the personal side. Let them know you. I'm gonna ask you 5 quick questions. Just answer. If I ask you movies or music, it doesn't have to be completely stoner related. It could just be what you like when you are stoned.
Got it.
All right. So first off, when was the first time you smoked cannabis? How old were you?
I was 13. Like I said, my best friend, the one whose uncle had the tumor, he ended up getting it was mostly just stems and shake, bro. Like, I mean, here's the thing: growing up in Atlanta, like all the good Cali weed. By the time anything made it to Georgia, bro, it was.
Oh yeah.
Swag.
Yeah.
But. So he managed to score a dime from like, I don't know, I think it was his sister or like her friend or something. And we pulled pages out of the Bible and that's what we rolled up with, bro. And just like, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
What is your favorite way to consume?
Ooh, any and all. But the number one that I go for, honestly, is probably my
That's same. I love Fly. I've tried all, but
and I'm not entirely convinced. Whatever engineer at Whirlpool designed my refrigerator, it makes it like a pyramid-shaped ice, and it's a perfect fit for a bong this size. It's like just having a big ice cylinder all the way up. It's like interlock.
That's sick. What is your favorite artist or musician to listen to when you're stoned?
Ooh. That's a much harder question. Currently, I'm listening to probably a lot of Sleep Token, a lot of Budos Band. What else? A lot of like 90s hip hop for sure. Yeah, that's probably where I'm at currently.
Favorite munchie food or weirdest munchie food?
Weirdest munchie food. weirdest munchy food is you take a Ritz cracker, a slice of just like cheddar cheese, and like put it on, and then take a jumbo marshmallow and stick it on top, bake it at like 300 for a little while.
Okay.
It sounds like it'd be gross.
Hey, I'll try.
My babysitter used to make these when I was a kid, man. Yeah. Like we would fight over the last one, right? So like I will get a craving every 5 years or something, and I'll just like make a couple of them, and it's just like, dude, I remember what the fuck. This was so weird. It was so weird.
I mean, I can't say anything. My grandpa would do peanut butter jelly dogs. So he'd take cold hot dogs, cut it open, peanut butter jelly, just straight to go. But I mean, I think that's a depression thing. Like during the depression age, it's like they do whatever.
Dude,
so
seriously.
But
man.
I tried it. I was like, all right, these are pretty good.
Oh, dude. Coming up, we used to make peanut butter and syrup sandwiches. I was like,
last thing, have you seen That 70s Show?
Yes.
You're downstairs in the basement. You got 3 people around you, dead or alive, famous or not. Who's in your circle?
Ooh, dead or alive, famous or not. Number 1, my grandpa. Straight up. That man was absolutely my hero, and I miss him every day. Number 2, I'm gonna go with Robin Williams again. Yes. I was actually asked a very similar question during my
favorite actor.
During my interview with Kiva, that was actually asked a very similar question. So yeah, because not only would I think it'd be great to just sit there and cut up and whatever, but even some of the philosophical conversations you could have with that man would be let's say those 2 people are gone. Somebody alive. I don't know, man. There's too many interesting people out there, and it's hard.
Flip a coin.
I don't know. We'll go with we'll go with Snoop because everybody wants to chill with Snoop, right? It'd just be a good time.
Right. Well, I appreciate it, brother. You can find Creighton at. How can people find you?
So Instagram, baked.crouton. Let's see. Also, you can hit me up on LinkedIn. It's just Creighton Calloway. Let's see what else. And then, just keep an eye out for me around town because even though I'm still looking for a new home in terms of work, that doesn't mean I'm not going to be in shops, man. I've made too many connections, and there's just too many good deals around town.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I appreciate you, brother, coming on. Yep. This has been fantastic, and next time I talk to you, you're probably already going to be picked up, so make sure you hire him soon. And this has been a trip down Stoner Drive. Yeah. See you tomorrow. That was a fail. I said see you tomorrow.